What if I told you there's a single chess game with 5 brilliant moves, all in one continuous attack? This is Kasparov versus Topalov, Wijk on Z 1999, a game so explosive that engines still call multiple moves brilliant today. Let's go through all 5, one by one, and see how Garry Kasparov created a masterpiece. The position looks balanced, both sides fully developed, but Kasparov suddenly changes everything with knight to d5. Not a sacrifice, but an exchange that explodes the position open. The knight takes and the pawn recaptures. Look at this tactic. Kasparov is already threatening checkmate and at the same time hitting the black queen on e7. The queen retreats to d6, but Kasparov doesn't slow down. He keeps sacrificing. Rook takes d4, an incredible move. And believe it or not, this isn't even the brilliant move yet. The c-pawn takes the rook. Kasparov has already lost one of his rooks. But here comes the first crazy, brilliant move. Rook to e7, pure aggression. Kasparov isn't thinking about material anymore. He's going straight for checkmate. Well, this isn't an exact rook sacrifice, because Topalov moves his king to b6. Why not capture the rook with the queen? Because it's instant checkmate in the follow-up lines. For example, after queen to d5 check and the sequence that follows, the king has no escape. Okay, let's continue. White's queen captures the pawn on d4, check. And now Kasparov sacrifices his knight. This game just keeps escalating. Then comes pawn to b4, check. The black king slides to a4, and Kasparov calmly plays queen to c3. He doesn't even care that his rook is hanging. That's what makes this brilliant move number 2. If black captures the rook, it's checkmate on the spot. But black finds a defensive resource. Queen captures the pawn on d5, guarding the b3 square to stop white's immediate checkmate idea. For a moment, it looks like Topalov might be surviving. But in this game, every defensive move just opens another door for Kasparov's attack. Rook to a7. Another checkmate idea, threatening to capture the pawn on a6. But Topalov defends cleverly with bishop to b7, blocking the file. At first glance, it looks like black is holding on. He's up a full rook and a knight, but Kasparov isn't done sacrificing yet. He captures the bishop on b7, giving up the rook again. How many times can one man sacrifice rooks in a single game? If the black queen takes the rook, it's instant checkmate with queen to b3. Instead, Topalov retreats, queen to c4, offering a queen trade or trying to diffuse the tension. Kasparov ignores it. Queen takes f6, picking off the knight and keeping the attack alive. Now the black king finally catches a breath and grabs the a3 pawn. But even here, he's not safe. Queen takes the a6 pawn. Check! The black king has only one move. King takes b4, grabbing the pawn. And then comes c3 check. Kasparov is sacrificing everything just to keep the king exposed. The king takes again, captures c3, and now the stunning queen to a1 check. The king runs to d2 and Kasparov continues the chase. Queen to b2 check. The king escapes to d1, hiding under the shadow of the d-file where the black rook waits. And then, another brilliant idea, bishop to f1. Absolutely insane. If Topalov captures that bishop, it's checkmate immediately. But instead, he ignores the threat and goes after Kasparov's queen. Rook to d2. And just when it seems impossible, Kasparov shocks the world again. Rook to d7, pinning the rook to the knight, protecting his king, and creating yet another sacrifice. Black finally takes the rook, but Kasparov strikes back. Bishop takes queen on c4. The pawn recaptures, and now queen takes the rook on h8. Rook to d3, setting up one last checkmate idea by pushing the pawn to c4. But Kasparov calmly defends. Queen to a8, maneuvering behind enemy lines. Then comes pawn to c3, the final push, and queen to a4, blocking the pawn's path. Topalov resigns. What a masterpiece. Kasparov didn't just win this game, he redefined what brilliance looks like over the board. 5 brilliant moves, multiple rook sacrifices, fearless attacks, and a king chased across the board like a cinematic masterpiece. This was Kasparov versus Topalov, 1999, the Immortal Rook Sacrifice. Don't forget to subscribe to Timur's Tactics, where every week we break down genius, chaos, and pure creativity, one game at a time.